Hello, everybody. We're back. I'm live. Hey, how's it going? We're doing another Starship reaction stream. This is Flight 10. I'm gonna unmute it now, and we're gonna get watching. So we got 36 minutes before launch, assuming all is well.
Sitting on the pad without any propellant in it.
We
and
get
then
Elon talk.
You can just come here and visit. It's very easy.
Yeah, I think it's a really special place. Yesterday, the ship went down the road behind us, and I saw families outside going for their, on Sunday, going for their Sunday stroll, and they were greeted by Starship going down. And I think that from the very
Prop
beginning,
loads begun.
the thing about Starship different than Falcon and other rockets that I'm aware of is we designed it to be mass-produced and mass-produced at scale. And it's not about building one Starship and getting to orbit once. It's about doing it in a sustained and rapid way.
Yeah, we're aiming for ultimately thousands of ships to be built per year, which is what's needed.
Yeah, this is the
in order
crazy
to,
shit.
Construct a city on Mars that is self-sustaining.
Thousands of ships, guys.
And the major fork in the road
that's where it's at.
Of destiny will be when the Mars city is capable of surviving, even if the resupply ships from Earth stop coming for any reason. And that reason could be something cataclysmic, or it could be that that civilization
It's like a 10-year project to achieve that, I think.
There's always this debate throughout history.
As long as Starship works.
A bang or a whimper. But either way, if the critical thing is to get to the point where Mars is self-sustaining and can survive even if the resupply ships stop coming for any reason, which means that you need to build an entire base of industry on Mars in order for Mars to survive. For example, it's not simply
those frost lines
enough to build a chip, like a computer chip factory, but you need the ability to build computer chip factories.
So looks so good.
This is going to really take a lot of tonnage. I mean, my guess is at least 1 million tons to the surface of Mars. And
it's probably going to be more like 10 million tons to the surface of Mars. I think 1 million is an undershot.
But this is
I would wager 10 million.
It's one which will ensure the long-term.
But you might be able to take some of that, like not from Earth.
And it's the critical stepping stone.
But in terms of actual mass that you need to put on planet,
solar system to
could be quite a
other
bit.
star systems, and perhaps go out there and explore, and perhaps we'll encounter alien civilizations that maybe they're alive now.
The aliens,
maybe they enjoyed a period of prosperity for millions of years, but also died out millions of years ago.
It's a shame that Starship wasn't ready last year this time, because then they could have gone on an intercept mission for the 31 Atlas, or 3I Atlas, not 31, 3I, third interstellar object
3 digits
coming from interstellar space.
And if you look at, say, our civilization and measure our civilization,
it's a cool object. Maybe we'll do a deep dive video on that.
Writing, which is about 5,500 years ago.
Well, not a deep dive, like a 12-minute little thing.
From the first writing,
which will be a deep dive because there's not very much to talk about.
1/1,000,000th of Earth's existence.
Or blip.
Yeah. Flash in the pan so far.
Frost.
Well, we're getting some cool shots. Rocket out.
Yeah, some cool shots because it's cold liquid fuel and oxidizer.
Just how massive this thing is, and
very
we were
cool.
able to catch somebody working on it.
Super cool.
A little while ago, and like part of the reason you said we're
human for scale.
That's kind of why this thing is
so massive.
Wow,
you can actually see the person working at the bottom of the ship, and as we zoom
so
out, you see
so
the
cool.
full ship.
And then there's another booster
two-tone
there.
silver
Wow.
and black, and then the booster below it, right? And it really sets the scale, which doesn't come across, I think, other than in person. And when I do tours, I like to say Starship is real, Starship is big, and Starship is really big. And I think you can
right now
see
it's
there,
alive.
And with the factory shots you saw earlier, again, we've got Flight 10 on the pad, but we got many more behind it.
Yeah, so I posted a video yesterday of just a brief scan of part of the Starship factory, and you can get a sense of the scale of the factory. Yeah, I guess we could talk a bit about why Starship is the way it is. Like, for example, why is half of the ship black and half of it is silver colored? And that's
I've been watching the Starship program for a really long time. Like, I've been following it for a really long time, and seeing all the progress is just like kind of a miracle, honestly.
Is the heat shield. And
it really was just a fucking sandbar, and now it's this like industry base for building rocket ships, which is like,
and that's where you see
that's
sort of shiny silver parts are stainless
that's
steel.
Cool, man. America is cool.
The reason for steel over aluminum is that the heat of atmospheric entry and the heat of
It's
the
like you might not
rocket
like him,
engines
but you can't deny
is
Dumbledore's got
enough to
style, you know?
easily melt aluminum, but steel
It's
is much
got
more
that same
resilient
energy.
against both ascent heating, but especially the reentry heating. And you don't have to paint it, which is actually very difficult to paint a large object that is going through cryogenic cycles and have the paint stay on. It's quite challenging.
And
The
so we
heat shield
talked
looks
about
really
it.
slick
It's massive. It
on this
obviously
one.
takes
We'll
a
see
whole
if it
lot of
survives.
energy to make that thing move. And that's where Raptor really starts to come in. Most advanced engine on the planet.
Oh, Raptor engine is so,
Giant
yes.
so
lightsaber.
sick, dude.
No, that's a lightsaber and a half.
So sick.
You would get vaporized in an instant if you were standing in front of Raptor. So, yeah, burnt to a crisp in a
Yeah,
less than a second.
I'm just
So, yeah,
embrace
so
the Raptor engine.
In order to create a fully
Return to
reusable
dust.
orbital rocket, you have to advance the state of the art in every part of the rocket. That means the engines have to be better than any engine ever. The structure's got to be better than any structure ever. You've got to you've got to have.
I'm excited that we get to watch the Elon talk live too.
Bringing the rocket back to the launch pad, you've got to have a fully reusable orbital heat shield, and that no one has ever made.
I always miss the Elon talks. I never get to watch them, so this is actually like awesome.
9 months of refurbishment between flights. So the space shuttle heat shield would come back essentially partially broken, and would require many months of refurbishment in order to fly again. What we're trying to achieve here with Starship is to have a heat shield.
No catch today, by the way. So they won't be catching the booster.
Both the ship and the booster would be
is a
caught
bit
by
sad,
the tower arms. And the booster would be placed immediately back on the launch stand, and the ship's got to orbit Earth at least once. But then
Is he wearing his Nuke Mars
potentially
shirt?
in one orbit, but in most cases several orbits. So the ship would come back several hours later, but then be caught by the arms and placed on top of the booster. You can also
think it's
have
better to just throw
multiple
rocks
ships
at Mars.
ready, so that a single booster could service 5 or more ships, so that you could be flying
You
the
can get
booster
just as
every,
much
in
energy
theory,
out of
every
that.
hour. This is kind of a profoundly fast speed, obviously, for the largest flying object by far ever made. But it's the reason why we catch the tower.
Look at how quick
we
that
catch
frost is going
the
up,
booster with
by
the
the
tower
way.
arms, and the ship also will be caught with the tower arms, because that's the fastest way to get the booster and the ship back to flight. If we had instead put landing legs, which we have done before for the ship tests, we actually had landing legs that flipped out, and the ship we've successfully demonstrated landing with legs. But if you do that, if we were to do that with the booster and the ship, here we'd have to land somewhere else with the legs, then lift the rocket, stow the legs, transport the rocket back to the pad, which is very unwieldy when you've got a gigantic thing. Then it would be picked up by these tower arms and placed in the launch mount. That would delay the reusability dramatically, and would add a lot of mass with the landing legs.
Sorry, this
So
footage
that's
is
why
like
we catch the rocket with the tower arms,
it's got
because
me
it's the same
tweaking,
tower
dude.
arms that put the
I
rocket
can barely
in
speak.
the launch mount are used to catch the rocket, and that means that we can put the booster back
Look
in
at
the
it
launch
jiggling.
mount in less than an hour after
It's
liftoff.
jiggling.
In fact, the booster is going to come back very fast. Like, 5 or 6 minutes later, this booster is coming back one way or another, or not coming back. So then you really have propellant fill time, which can be brought down to
Booster
about
16 and ship 37.
minutes, and that means it is
T-minus
theoretically possible
27
to
minutes.
fly the booster again in less than an hour.
I think when I think about it, it's the jet drives up to the jetway, the people get off, new people get
We'll
on.
see
and
if
it
they
leaves.
ever
You don't
get
want
that
to
one
land the
done.
jet
I don't know.
on
I
a
mean,
different airfield and then
that'll
tow it
be
over
incredible
to the
if they
jetway. So
ever
it's just
can
operationally
refly within
simpler
an
and
hour.
faster.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success.
Like,
with the
just think about
booster,
how fucking nuts
3
that
for
would
3
be.
on the catch attempts when we bring it
Like,
back. We've
imagine
reflown
we're
one, so
watching like
awesome.
today.
And
It goes up,
again,
comes down,
Starship superpowers. The
you
whole thing
know,
is reusable. So
gets caught,
ship
and then
reusability
another
is
ship
like
gets
what we're
slapped
working
on
on
top
right
of it,
now.
and then it
We've
goes.
been able to get some
That'd be
really
wild.
spectacular reentries on a couple of flights, hoping to get this one. for
That
re-entry
would
on the
be
V2
genuinely
ship.
wild.
But yeah, that fully reusable heat shield, that thing that has just never been done before. That's one of the things we're really looking for that data on.
Yeah, I mean, there are thousands of engineering challenges that remain for
Ah.
both the ship and the booster.
We haven't
But
got one of these in a while. I'm hoping that
the
today
single,
we will.
maybe the single biggest one is the reusable orbital heat shield. We are confident in making a fully reusable orbital heat shield, but it will require many flights, many iterations to
Wow.
figure out where the weak points are in the heat shield, where we need to change the design, either strengthening the tile or changing how big the gap is between tiles, changing what's underneath the tile. There's a you know 100 different variables that we
Many
can
different things that
tweak
you can try for
with
heat
the
shields. Yeah.
ship tiles,
Yes, yes.
the heat shield tiles. But the only way to know exactly what we should be adjusting is
I wonder
to
if they'll
fly
ever end up on some
repeatedly
sort of
and be able
active
to
cooling
examine the ship
system.
upon landing. And
That would be an interesting,
we have successfully brought the ship back
interesting thing to
through
see.
the atmosphere and achieved a soft landing multiple times. So we know that this is possible, but we have in the process shed many heat shield tiles. So we need to be able to do this without shedding heat shield tiles
This is
and do
this will
so
be interesting to see
repeatedly.
when they finally do
And,
this
and
in
I
real
think what you're
life.
seeing
The
now
ship
is the
catches.
Starship. This is CG of it coming in and landing on the tower,
Yeah.
much like the booster, but there's some additional challenges
As
there
usual,
where
SpaceX
we need to
stream
make sure we don't scrape the tiles off
has
as
all
we
the
slide along
explanation.
the
We
chopstick
can't
arm.
shuck the heat shield.
This is the SpaceX stream over on
crush the
X, by
ship.
the way.
Rapid
Anybody can
usability.
go watch
If we
this
shuck
one.
shuck the tiles, then
If you
that's
want to
obviously gonna
watch
fail
it with
the
higher
reusability
volume
test.
or whatever,
So ships
I
can use
recommend
the tower to land and catch
going
like,
and doing
like
that.
the
This is just sort of
booster
a watch
here on
along
Earth
thing
where
that I've
towers
done
are
for every
available.
flight.
And for our initial landings on Mars and other planets, we'll need landing legs that deploy much like what you're seeing
There are
here
many
with Ship
streams.
15 when we did our
Many people
suborbital
watching
test
this today.
to prove out the precision descent landing, which was a successful test. We actually landed to one was it we were able to actually recover it, and it's you can see it here in the rocket garden if you visit Starbase.
Yeah, so the rocket garden that Bill mentioned, we have actually a whole bunch of boosters and ships, and we'll be adding to them over time. So you can see an evolution of Starship just by driving down the highway.
Yeah. So reusability is key. There's some other
I'm
technologies.
hoping to
we're
get
still
to go
looking
here
prove
in
out.
person
Really big one is going to be the
sometime in the
on-orbit
next
refilling.
year and a
Looking
bit.
to do that next year, and that's really what's going to kind of.
But I also want to save up for a Japan trip.
Going everywhere else.
But a
Going
bunch of my friends are going to
everywhere
Japan, and I
beyond
kind of
Earth.
don't want to go at
And
the
that's
like. I love all
something
my
that's, again,
friends,
never
like
been
God
done
bless
before,
them,
kinda
you
like
know. But I want to go
reusable
on my
orbital
own.
heat shield.
So it's
But
like
going to be something that's kind of some of the other secret sauce. to
just one of
Starship,
those
where
things.
We're going to be able to send.
So maybe instead, what I'll do is I'll
to Mars.
substitute
Yeah, I like
a
to think of
slightly
it as if
cheaper
we get to
trip
orbit
and
with
go
a
down to
full cargo
Starbase,
bay, but we're empty
which would
on
be
fuel
like
and oxygen.
not too
So
bad.
basically,
I mean, it would
we're
be
running on
expensive,
fumes.
but
Then we send other ships to dock, transfer propellant, and
not
now we
as
made our
expensive as
two-stage rocket
Japan.
look like a many multi-stage rocket, and we get all of that performance, and we can take that full cargo bay now wherever we want to go.
I can't wait to see
Yeah,
this in
so
orbit too. Like
a
this will be
crucial
cool when we
technology
get
that
to see an
we
actual
hope
like
to demonstrate
ship-to-ship
next year is this orbital
refueling
refilling, much like aerial
demonstration.
refueling.
That'll
It's
be very
essential for
interesting to see.
being able to send significant
They'll
payload
have
to
to put a
Mars.
whole bunch of
So
interesting
you
onboard
essentially you
cameras
send
for
a
that
ship
one, like
to
different
orbit
ones, new
with
ones,
a
to get
few
different
hundred
views
tons
of
of
like
payload, sort of a
all the
filled payload bay.
connections and everything.
But once it gets to orbit, the tanks will be mostly empty, and then you send up additional tanker ships to refill the Mars ship's tanks, so that it can thrust from Earth orbit to Mars and have enough propellant left for landing. So this is orbital refilling is also not something that's ever been demonstrated before. So that would be a brand new technology. We obviously have at SpaceX figured out how to dock repeatedly with the space station. So in a lot of ways, this is like docking. And in some
Docking
ways
with
it's
extra
easier in that
gas.
SpaceX is docking with its own craft, but no one has ever demonstrated propellant transfer in orbit, to the best of our knowledge, and so this would be propellant transfer at a very large scale.
The first time they
And,
try it, it's gonna like spray methane
But with full
everywhere,
reusability and propellant transfer,
and then the ship is gonna start
those are the key
helicoptering
technologies
around.
needed for building a city on Mars. And I'm confident that the SpaceX team, which is incredibly talented, will achieve these goals, and we will be landing ships on Mars in the future and building life on Mars, building greenhouses and life on Mars, and ensuring the long-term survival of life as we know it. And it's important to note here that obviously, we are effectively stewards of life here on Earth. That the other creatures cannot build spacecraft and get to other planets. So if there were to be a cataclysmic event, like a giant meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs, or ultimately the sun will expand to envelop Earth and destroy all life.
The sun is going to eat us, bro. We're
This
cooked.
is an undisputed
We
fact.
can start eating the sun,
Um,
though. We can eat it back.
Then
We can
if
give it
we
a
don't
taste
take
of its
life
own
to
medicine.
another planet,
And I'm
life
a
will
big
be
proponent of
destroyed.
that.
So it's incumbent upon us to ensure that we do
Starlifting
bring
is a
life
good
to other planets
idea.
and
99%
ensure
of
the
all the
long-term
mass in the
survival
solar
of
system is in the sun.
life as we know it on planet Earth.
And I mean,
It's
aside
just a
from that,
difficult,
there's so
near
much
nigh
that
impossible
Starship unlocks
endeavor
by being able to do these
that's
things.
economically
like, we'll be able to go to
unreasonable.
Mars, but there are other just transformational things by being able to take
But that doesn't mean
that many
it's not
people,
worth
that much
doing.
stuff to space for that much less money.
Yeah, I mean, I think like understanding our planet better, being able to move people around the planet, make it feel smaller and more
Hypersonic
accessible. You
ballistic
could
missile
go
travel.
anywhere on the Earth
Yes,
in less
sir.
than 40 minutes,
I'll take that.
basically, in terms of flight time. So
I'll take
I
the
really do
2
see
hour to
Starship
Tokyo.
as
Thank you
being
very
this thing that
much.
can connect us, just like Starlink connects our information.
That sounds
It can
like
connect
a
us more physically.
sick situation.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
So there's really nothing faster than a rocket. Really, an orbital rocket is the fastest thing that we know of of the fastest means of transport.
Nah,
So,
maybe we can make
like
something
you could
better.
go from LA to
Build
Sydney
them warp
in
drives.
less than half an hour. You could go LA to Tokyo in less than half an hour. You could go from New York to
Oh, yeah,
Singapore
30
in
minutes to
half an hour.
Tokyo.
Everything's probably half an hour, basically. Some things might be 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, sign me up for that, please. All right, cool.
Cross the Atlantic in 10 minutes, no problem.
Please, yes, sign
Well,
me up.
you're going 25 times the speed of sound, so that's 30 times faster than a commercial aircraft.
And it's a whole hell of a lot better view.
Yeah, it's a hell of a view.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Hypersonic
else, guys?
orbital drifting. London
else
to
that you're
Tokyo.
excited about
we could
coming
say a
out?
lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go
No,
check in on
that's
the rocket.
that's
Yeah.
that's the
We're gonna
future.
go back on console to hopefully the weather supports a launch tonight.
It looks good.
and,
The weather,
Yeah,
honestly.
thanks for tuning in, and
Like it looks a little bit sus, but it.
yeah,
All
thanks
right.
for your
Oh no, it
support.
looks kind of clear
Thanks
enough
for
a little
having
bit
us.
in places.
Right.
Like I'm sure it'll be fine. They wouldn't go if it wasn't possible, right? Like they know what they're doing. It's not my job. I ain't no weatherman. Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy? Oh, those frost lines really climb so quickly. It's
All
quite
right, that was
quite
sweet.
wonderful.
Let's turn our attention
Ah,
back to the rockets.
Elon
So
is
just
gone.
checking in. We are about 19 minutes.
Good
and
chat,
change
good
away
talk,
from
Elon.
liftoff.
Good
As I said
good
right at the
update.
top, weather is going to be our primary concern. We were tracking.
We've been
some
waiting for
anvil
that one
clouds.
for a
We're
while.
hopefully clearing that on the range
There's
soon.
many happy SpaceX
We are not
nerds right now.
currently
All of them
tracking
are going like,
any
yes.
hardware blockers to launch, but we'll continue to follow along. If anyone was following along yesterday, we actually didn't even get into our webcast as we had a leak on one of the hoses feeding the liquid oxygen into the ship through its quick disconnect. We were able to replace that this morning. Team did an incredible job, got us into an attempt today. All right, joining me now for the
I'll
rest of
lean
the
back
day
a little bit so then
is
a little
Amanda
bit
Lee.
easier to
Hi,
see.
Amanda.
Thanks, Dan. I'm super excited to be here. Let's just get right into it.
Yeah, a whole bunch has happened to get us to today's flight, our 10th flight test. Let's look back at Starship's 9th flight test in May. That did end with a rapid unscheduled disassembly on the ship and the booster.
Flight 9 marked the first reflight of a Super Heavy booster. We saw a successful stage separation and the first ever deterministic flip, which gives us extra performance. The reused booster was flown at a much higher angle of attack to push the envelope on capabilities, which ended up causing
And that's why it died.
internal structural failure, eventually leading to a rapid unscheduled disassembly at
Look at
landing
that
burn.
vibration.
As ship continued its ascent, we did see pressure drop in its main fuel tank and rise in the nose cone. We just had a camera view. We actually caught the failure on camera in the fuel pressurization system. Ship was able to complete its ascent, though, achieved its planned velocity and second stage engine cutoff.
After that, though, we did run into some issues with attitude control, which led us to skipping the payload deploy and Raptor relay demos. Starship eventually re-entered the atmosphere in an
I
off
love the way
nominal
they put it
attitude,
so
and
mildly, as
communication
though
was
it
lost
wasn't like
approximately
dee
46
dee
minutes
dee
into the flight
dee
test
dee
during
dee
entry,
dee
but of
dee,
course
just
not before
fucking
one heck of a
ripping
light show.
itself
That
apart as
booster
it
rud was caused by
tore
higher than
across the
predicted forces on its structure,
tore
specifically
across
that
the
internal
world.
fuel
Like,
transport tube, as we were doing a higher angle of attack
love it.
experiment.
You'll
To
love to
fix
see
that
it.
for remaining flights with this version of the booster, including the one behind us, we're just going to lower that angle of attack. We're relaxing those forces, and that minimizes the likelihood of structural failure.
And over on the ship
Reminder
side,
for
we
today,
redesigned
no
the part of the
catch. They
fuel
are not going for
pressurization
a
system
catch,
that
so
failed on Flight 9,
that's a big
put it
sad,
through a
but
more rigorous test campaign, and after subjecting it to
we'll
flight
see
life
if they get
stresses,
the
it
soft
did
splashdowns
successfully
are really
run for
cool
more
as
than
well.
10
You
times
know,
the expected service life with no damage, so great
very
test results there.
very cool to
Our
watch.
goal is always to make it through all of the objectives we set, but any result that teaches us more about Starship performing in the real-world environment helps us to make those targeted iterations and improve quickly.
Yeah, that's how SpaceX developed our first rocket, Falcon 1. That's the same philosophy we used to develop Falcon 9, which has passed 100 flights just this year and 500 flights overall.
Yeah, incredible milestone for Falcon.
We're
And again,
finishing
the
up
way they got there
the
was to
fueling now.
launch, learn, and repeat.
All right, so that wasn't the only thing that happened while getting ready for Flight 10.
10
If
more
you
minutes
followed
or
along,
so.
Ship 36, which was originally supposed to fly on Flight 10, experienced a major anomaly during a static fire test at our
Oh
Massey
yeah,
test site. It was
that
in the process of loading all of its
will they
cryogenic
show it? I hope
propellant
so.
to do
They
a
better
six-engine
show it.
static fire when we had a sudden energetic event that resulted in the complete loss of the Starship, and we damaged the immediate area surrounding the stand out there at Massey's.
The most likely root cause was
Any
identified as
we can
undetectable or under-screen damage to a composite overwrapped pressure vessel, or COPV, in Starship's payload bay section. To
I wonder
address
if
this
they'll cut
probable
away
cause, we're
to-
operating the COPVs on Starship at a lower
I
pressure
watched it
and also
live,
implemented
and it was
additional
like
proofs
midnight and
inspection
dark,
methods.
and I was watching
Meanwhile,
this
though,
like
keep our
dark
launch schedule
screen
up, gotta
in the
keep
dark,
testing.
and then all of a
The team
sudden
was
it
able
just
to pivot
poof,
and
and I was
use the launch pad, the
flashbanged,
one
and I
we're
was
on
like, what
today,
the heck
to do
happened?
ship
And it was
static
like, oh
fire
my
tests.
god,
This
it's
is the first
dead.
time we've ever
It's
done
dead,
that.
Jim.
Doing that retrofit was
It
the
exploded.
fastest path to get back to launch. Team was able to engineer a solution where we used
So
a transport
rest in
range to
pieces,
mount the ship.
ship
Routed
36.
a whole bunch of extra hoses and everything to load propellants. They knocked that out in just a matter of weeks, where we had 2 static fires on the orbital mount.
Yeah, very impressive turnaround there, getting to these static fires. These static fires gave us the data we
Oh,
needed
look
to
at that.
progress
That's
to
so
launch,
cool.
and are a prime example of our engineer and technician teams working to build creative solutions to keep us charging forward to eventually bring Starship
We have so
online.
much. We're
And
so spoiled with such
even
good
while doing
footage
all of
from
this, we're in the
SpaceX.
process of rebuilding the test stand out at Massey's
So
to
good.
get ready for the next generation of Starship version 3. So
V3
right now,
is going
though,
to be a
we are
monster.
still
I
on
think
track.
V3 is
We're
really
looking
going to
about
do
14 minutes
a
away.
big
Again, our
service to the
T0
program.
is at 6:59 p.m. Central. While we still have a couple of moments,
Version
though,
2 is like the
let's toss
training
it over
weights.
to Chris, who's getting ready to watch the launch out in California. How's it going, Chris?
Hey, Dan and Amanda, it's going great, and welcome everyone to the Tesla Diner here in Hollywood, California, for the first ever public
they're at
showing
the
of the
Tesla
SpaceX
Diner
webcast. It's
for
been
the
great to see
Starship
the
launch
webcast
in
up there on
California.
the big
No
screens
surprise
at the
there.
diner. You know, throughout the afternoon, we've had members of the public coming up, mixing and mingling, enjoying some of the food, getting to watch some old science fiction, but also getting to watch and keep up to date with what's happening here for Starship's 10th test flight. I think I can speak for everyone here when I say we're really looking forward to the epic views that we're going to get from in space and during atmospheric reentry, all thanks to Starlink. And speaking of Starlink, that's actually how we're coming to you live from the diner, relying on one of those many reliable connections that Starlink is able to put down across the Earth and in low Earth orbit. So for a little bit more information on the immediate future of the Starlink constellation, let's head on over to Hawthorne, where my colleague Tyler Lionquist is standing by. Tyler, how's it going there? And are you ready to see a rocket launch today?
We are definitely ready for a Starship launch here in Hawthorne. Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Lionquist and I'm a Starlink business analyst here at SpaceX. Starlink is SpaceX's low Earth orbit high-speed internet that's
They're
bringing
doing
connectivity to
8
places where
dummy
you least expect
Starlinks
it,
on today's
including in
launch.
space. For today's mission, Starship is outfitted with 4 Starlink terminals, allowing us to get live views of ship while in orbit and all the way down to splashdown in the Indian Ocean. Starlink satellites are built in Redmond, Washington, and that's also where we monitor the health of our entire constellation. So let's take a quick look for more on Redmond.
Getting a Starlink promotional video, hell
What a
yeah.
lot of people might not realize when they think about the scale that we're operating is that actually 2/3 of the operational satellites in orbit are Starlink satellites. And then all of those Starlink satellites
Yeah, I
came
mean,
from
they've
right
done a
here in
lot of
Redmond.
launches. This is a lot of massed orbit. So cool.
We've currently got a constellation
Those
of
machines are
over
so
8,000
like
satellites
are
that
so
flying around in
satisfying.
orbit.
The
So they're
board
working together to
placement
fill out the whole
machines.
surface of the Earth, make sure everywhere can have service. So we have these laser links that are connected between the satellites, so each satellite can pass data from one to the other. That is what allows us to have these hundreds of gigabit links between satellites, and that's what allows us to connect every corner of the Earth to high quality, high speed, low latency internet.
Space lasers. Terminal
When you
assembly,
think
hell
about that,
yeah.
Starlink
That's a
that you have
sick
as well,
sign.
the technology that's in there and that's in your antenna is very similar to the antenna that's on the satellite. We use what are called phased array antennas, which is a fancy way of describing an antenna that's made up of many little antennas that work together in order to direct their energy to a specific spot on the ground without a motor.
Generally, satellite manufacturing is a very slow process. It takes people weeks or months to build a satellite. At SpaceX, we iterate very fast, and we have learned how to build satellites at the 70 sats a week rate.
70 a week is
As we
pretty
have
damn
focused
impressive.
a lot on production rate, we have not forgotten about our satellite reliability, which is critical to our mission.
If you look at the whole world and you ask, where is the satellite industry? It's right here in the USA, in Redmond, where the vast majority of satellites being built are being built right here. Starlink is a truly game-changing technology, and it's all supported by the global satellite constellation from this space here in Redmond. And we're really just getting started at the very beginning of what we want to do with Starlink.
Well, it's gonna get
Now, as
crazy
we
once
mentioned
Starship
earlier in the
is
show, one
in
of today's
action, right?
objectives is for SHIP to deploy Starlink simulator satellites that
There it
represent the
is.
advanced V3 satellites Starship
I
will be
think 8
launching
of them,
in the future.
if I'm correct, but she'll tell
And
us.
as you can see here, once
She'll
Starship
give us
reaches
the
a nominal orbit,
details.
the payload door will slowly begin to open to prepare for deployment. The Starlink
Maybe.
satellites will be dispatched relatively quickly, one at a time, very much like a Pez dispenser. They'll be situated in one long stack, taking up as little space as possible, allowing for an efficient deployment sequence. And once a set of Starlinks is deployed, the next set advances and deploys until they are all drifting away from Starship to prepare for their on-orbit life. Each Starlink V3 launch on Starship is planned to add 60 terabits per second of capacity to the Starlink network. That's more than 20 times the capacity
That's
added
pretty
with every
impressive.
V2 mini launch on Falcon 9. So we're talking about a massive increase in performance all around, which will ultimately enable Starlink to serve as the communications backbone of the missions to the moon and to Mars. But for now, we're going to turn it back over to the team at Starbase.
Marslink.
Hey, Dan and Amanda.
Hey, thanks, Taylor. So, quick update for everybody. So, weather is still the main thing that we're watching. We are currently red on the range, hoping to clear that Anvil.
That's not a good
rule
sign.
any moment now. That's
We don't
really
want to
the
hear
only
red
thing
on the
blocking us at
range,
moment.
brother. That's
Vehicle's
not
good,
what we
pad's
want to
ready
hear.
go. All of our checkouts have been really smooth today after that repair work that we did this
Well,
morning. After
beautiful
we had to
wet
abort
dress
out
rehearsal
yesterday.
if
So
that ends up being the case.
we're looking at the weather. That's the thing we're really paying attention to right now.
Meanwhile, prop load is still ongoing. We started loading prop at about T-minus 53 minutes, beginning with ship fuel, ship blocks, booster fuel, and finally booster locks.
Look at that
began
dark
loading
spot
at about
there. That's
T-minus
not good.
35. We'll continue loading prop until just about 3 minutes
Honestly,
before
none of that's
liftoff.
looking good.
The ship will conclude first, and
But
then
you know
30
what?
seconds later,
We
booster
remain
will finish up.
Yeah, so bottom line,
optimistic.
we're looking great in the vehicle. We're looking really good on the range. We're just really watching that weather. So we're still waiting to hear that that's clear. That's the
Come
only
on,
thing
weather.
that could potentially stop us today.
Okay, now let's talk about Mars, since everything we do is part of our
Well,
foundational mission
worst
to
case
get to the red
scenario,
planet.
we
Each
uh
Starship
we
launch
got
is
the
to learn
Elon
more and more
talk,
about
right?
what's needed
We at
to
least
make
got
life
that.
multiplanetary and to improve ship to the point where it's eventually taking millions of people to Mars.
That's right. We're looking at head to begin sending the first Starships to Mars next
Oh, it's
year.
gonna be so
These
cool when
initial
they
ones
when
are
they
going to go
put
without
the
humans.
Optimus
They're
robots
just going to
on.
put minimally viable landers on the surface, land right on the skirt, no legs. This will just help prove we can actually get to Mars, focus on learning just as much as humanly possible, demonstrating what's needed for Mars transit and the ultimate landing.
Then, during our next window from 2028 to 2029, we'll attempt to land the initial infrastructure and start delivering more equipment while evaluating available resources on the planet. And we'll also have Optimus on board for the ride, designed to do the initial heavy lifting.
Beyond that, by 2030, 2031, as these windows open up roughly every 26 months, we'll continue to
The
increase the
Cybertruck in
amount
the
of payload
bottom.
we're sending on each ship as we're building out more infrastructure,
Cybertruck.
mining resources, generating propellant for ships to come back from Mars. By 2033, we want to double the
Well,
amount
they're
of
full
payload
on
per
prop,
ship
basically.
as we just get closer and closer to building a self-sustaining presence on the red planet.
Yeah, very exciting missions ahead, and these first missions to Mars are going to be crucial to setting up what we'll need for humans to eventually inhabit the planet, and we won't be doing this alone.
Right.
The Italian Space Agency and SpaceX recently signed a
Hell
first-of-its-kind
yeah.
agreement to
W
carry Italian
Italy.
experiments on the first Starship missions to deliver customer payloads to Mars. These payloads will include a plant growth experiment,
Big Italy
a
win.
weather monitoring station, and a radiation sensor to gather
Classic
scientific
Big
data
Italy
during
win.
Starship's approximately 6-month interplanetary coast phase from Earth to Mars and also on the Martian surface.
It's a really exciting vision to make it
Italy's
happen.
going for
launch
Mars.
a whole lot more. We're going to need a whole lot of people that are going to come and help us build this. So it makes it really
Martian
fun for me
Italy.
to come to work. I know you build these things. It's got to be
100%.
fun for you.
Yep, very exciting.
All right.
Looks like we're about 5 minutes from Starship's 10th flight test. Range is still looking good. Still have an eye on the weather at the moment.
Well,
And prop load
the
is
range
also
is looking
continuing
good,
on
but
both stages of
there was a
Starship.
weather
I'm
is
pulling it
red
up real
situation.
Quick. So we are just we're almost closed out on the booster. We're about 90%
I'm
on
colorblind.
fuel.
Red means green.
About
Let's
90% on LUX,
go.
just a bit below. So again, we're going to continue filling for about the next 2 minutes. Once we're completely done with that, we have about 11 million pounds of liquid propellant on board those 2 stages of
It's a
Starship.
lot of cold
So
liquid.
a lot of propellant to move really big rockets really fast away from South Texas. So once we get close, all of our ground systems will prepare themselves. They do what's called pushbacks. They'll clear out all of those feed lines, push back into the prop farm, and just prepare the area around it. We're doing our final guidance and navigation checks right now. The automated flight safety system is about to get armed. We're just really preparing the vehicle to get ready to go. I'm not sure if we passed it already, but we do a final thrust vector control checkout. The TVC will wiggle the engines that we use to actually steer the rocket itself.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite topic, if we need to hold. That hold would come at T minus 40 seconds. We can
Not
hold
my
if we're
favorite
still waiting
topic.
for the
Nobody's
weather to
favorite
clear,
topic.
which is our big item today.
We don't like
or
holds.
if any other last minute issues pop up.
Rocket fans have
only hold there
holds?
if we have an issue. Still waiting to hear confirmation that the weather has cleared.
Sounds
That's
like
the only thing it
no.
looks like would hold us
Oh,
today.
look at that
Here's
frost
the
falling.
business end of a super heavy.
Now, once we
It's
pass
snowing.
that T minus 40 second mark that Dan was talking about, a number of
It's
going to
be
are
really
going to
cool
occur
to see
in rapid
the
succession. The ground spin and ignition systems
like
come
skirt
up to flight
of
pressure, and ship will switch over to internal
version
power.
3 when they have
After
the
that,
Raptor
quick
3s without the
disconnect,
heat shielding
arm
there.
lockout is removed in
That'll be a
preparation for retraction,
really
which occurs shortly
interesting
after T0.
view.
And once we pass that T minus 40 second mark, we do still have the
hopefully
ability
that'll
to
be
then
soon.
recycle the count under certain conditions back to T minus 40
Obviously,
seconds.
this is still a
and
Block
hold
2
there
ship,
to assess
so.
what happened, and if we can proceed again back to liftoff.
Oh, we're on Schmungo
we
quality.
hope that doesn't happen, but it has previously. I promise not to psych anybody this time. We do have some kind of points of no return. Once the water starts flowing out of that flame deflector under the launch mount, that happens just a little after T minus 10 seconds. If that triggers and then we hit a hold, that would be a scrub for the day. We have to refill the water tanks, can't turn it off, got to refill prop, all that stuff. So
Oh, the weather is looking so
that's
like
kind of the major watch item.
so
You'll see a big
iffy.
splash under the launch mount, and if we see that go and then you hear a hole, that would mean that we're done for the day. But
look at that beautiful rocket.
And yeah, I didn't disappear. Sorry, everybody listening in as the flight director for today is going through some of the final checks. We are still red on the range for weather. We are closing out prop load right now, though.
Yeah, as we wait and hear what's going on, we can just quickly
Red
review
on the
some of the
range
test
for
objectives
weather.
for today. On the
Although
booster
maybe
side,
they
we're
have
of
an
course hoping
instantaneous
for
window
all
that they can
33
go
of
green.
those Raptor engines to power our
That's
ascent ahead of hot
possible,
staging.
but
And once that stage separation occurs, booster will perform that directional flip before the boost back burn. One of the interesting experiments we're doing today is upon our landing burn, which typically ends with those 3 center engines lit. We're going to be intentionally shutting one of those off and instead lighting one from the middle 10 ring. And this is just to kind of give us an idea of what it would look like if we ever had an engine out scenario.
Yeah, using our time to really push the envelope.
Let it snow, look at that, the gimbling.
And so at this point, we are fully closed out on our prop load. Coming up on a minute and 20, we are still red on the range for weather. So at this rate, looking likely we will hold at T-minus 40 to see if we can clear that anvil cloud roll. That's the one blocker we currently have to a launch
Make
today.
the clouds go away. Somebody do a rain dance. We're going to be waiting at T-minus 40 for weather to get good. What a nightmare.
All right, and
this is the worst case scenario.
So we are expecting to hold
worst
at
case
T-minus
Ontario
40.
even.
We are still red on the range for weather. So look for the clock to pause in just a couple seconds.
There it is, the pause.
And pause. So we'll hang out here for a couple of minutes. We do have until the end of the window. We won't have 30 minutes of hold time to hang out, as we're essentially not replenishing prop on the vehicle at this point. So we have to keep a close eye on things like temperatures inside the tanks. We can only hold for so many minutes before things start to warm up. Surprised it's hot in South Texas.
Yeah, while we're holding here at T-minus 40 seconds, we reviewed our test objectives for booster, but why don't we chat ship for a second? After stage separation, ship will continue onwards up through its ascent to the planned suborbital trajectory. Once it reaches there, we'll undergo SECO, or where the second stage shuts off its engines. We're hoping to deploy 8 dummy satellites today, which are modeled after Starlink V3. We're also planning to attempt a in-orbit burn, so we'll relight one of those Raptor engines while in space, and that will occur ahead of re-entry, where we'll also be testing multiple experiments, including missing tiles, metallic tiles, and intentionally loading those vehicles' flaps. And then hopefully we'll conclude today's test flight with a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, definitely want to see a ship on the other side of the planet today. We did just get a quick update. So the range is fully green. Weather is still red. So we are still tracking its attached.
Well, you can't say the range is fully green, but weather is red.
Too close to our launch site, and it needs to move further away.
Sounds to me like the range isn't fully green.
Moves further away, we can't lift off. So we are expecting an update in a couple of seconds potentially.
Well, you
Again,
better
we can hang out here for several minutes. We're not actively replenishing prop.
They only have a few minutes though. They can't they can't only stay for like 10 or 15 minutes at this point. I mean, yeah, they have they have the hour window, but now that they've committed to prop, it's like, well, pretty much.
And we're getting a weather update right now.
All right, weather. Rain, go away.
And team's looking at it. Again, we're just tracking this anvil rule still. It's our only blocker today. Range is green, vehicle is green. Weather is currently red. All right, and sad voice coming in. We did just hear that we are still going to be red. So at this point, we are essentially transitioning this to be a wet dress. So Wet dress is when we fully load prop on board the
Well,
rocket.
it was a beautiful wet
So
dress
we are going to
rehearsal,
see
everybody.
the clock probably start up again, but once they get down to 10 seconds, they're going to abort out, and then we will be done for the day. So, sad news, not going to launch today. Weather got in our way.
Aw, man.
But
Aw,
you can only control
man.
so much. Can't always control
Well,
the weather.
hopefully they'll
Can't
be
control
able
the
to
weather. Wish we
recycle
could
for
control the weather.
tomorrow.
We're not there yet.
It's a very, there is a
that be
chance
nice?
that they will
So
be
we
able
are seeing
to.
the clock
But with
rolling, again,
back-to-backs,
we're
they may
going
need
to
until
get down
Wednesday.
to T-minus
So
10
I don't know,
seconds,
and I don't know
we're
whether
gonna
they
see
have
that
the
kick
like the
back out,
NOTAMs and all
and
that
then
stuff
we're
for
gonna
that.
start
So
offloading
we'll see
all of
what
the
their backup
propellant
window
that's on
is
board the rocket
for this
today.
launch.
So if you are just tuning in,
But yeah, that's
yeah, it's not going. There it goes. Back to T-minus 40. So again, we essentially turned today into a wet dress.
that's
So
it,
today
guys.
still
That's the end
ended
of
up
it.
being the
No
test.
launch today. Weather was red. All right, we'll head over to the big cam and we'll chat for a little bit, or we'll say goodbye. Well, that's sad. We'll do a little bit of we'll do a plant update. Rhino is still doing well. He's a little bit. There's a couple leaves that are not doing all that good, but snake plants are hard to grow from seed, so we'll see. We'll see if he ends up surviving, but not doing too bad. But other than that, the launch today is canceled. The weather was red, so we will not see Ship 37 and Booster 16 fly today. That is going to be another day, maybe tomorrow, but I am not 100% sure on that. So I guess that's going to end it for the stream here. We ended up catching the Elon chat at the beginning, which I'm happy about. So maybe we'll be able to get some clips from that are not too shabby for just general multi-planetary nonsense. And yeah, and we'll be back again for their next attempt at launch, and hopefully they will be able to go this time instead of getting hit with the dreaded scrub. I was wrong. I predicted that they would scrub yesterday, but then I didn't think they would scrub today as well. So it is what it is. Such is the life of being a rocket nerd. All right, everybody. Peace, love, and happiness. Have yourself a wonderful rest of the Monday, and maybe we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do some Hogwarts Legacy before the launch if they're doing the launch. I don't know, so we'll see. But